Alright Reds, this is Eddie Gibbs from Anfield Index, and this is a paid advertisement from BetterHelp Therapy Online. What's something you'd always wanted to learn? Remember back when you were a kid, always curious, always discovering something new. Now think about this, as an adult, do you still spark that joy of learning new things? Whether it's gardening, picking up a new language, or maybe mastering bowling to outshine your best friend, it's essential to keep that spirit alive. And guess what? Therapy can be a fantastic way to reconnect with your inner student, your sense of wonder. Because truly, the back-to-school vibe isn't just for kids or young adults, it's for everyone at any stage of life. Now, I haven't used BetterHelp myself, but I've seen firsthand how therapy can dramatically shift perspectives. It's not just about heavy issues, it's about enhancing your everyday life, learning to cope better with daily stress, setting healthy boundaries, and empowering yourself to be the best version of yourself. It's a space where anyone can benefit from a little extra insight and support. So why BetterHelp? Well, it's therapy that fully adapts to your timetable, and it's all online. Just fill out a brief questionnaire, and they'll match you with a therapist. And if you feel the need to change therapists, you can switch anytime without an extra charge. How's that for flexibility? With over 5,000 therapists in the UK, BetterHelp offers a wide variety of specialists, ready to help you rediscover your curiosity and tackle new challenges. Visit betterhelp.com/index today. There's a bonus. Get 10% off your first month. Remember, that's betterhelp.com/index. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp and keep on learning, no matter where you are on life's journey.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC on a Wednesday when international football has come to an end and we can start getting ready for the weekend's Premier League action. Now, coming out of the international break, as things currently stand, we have no injuries to report from those who went with senior squads. It seems like Alexis is fine. All the others seem to have come through unscathed. So we should have pretty much a full-strength squad at the weekend. Curtis Jones is back in training. Everybody else looks fit, with one exception, Harvey Elliott. So Harvey obviously had to drop out of the England under-21 squad and return to Liverpool due to an injury issue. And today we have reports that that issue is a fractured foot. Indy Kayla was actually, to be fair to him, the first one to have this news that Harvey would miss 4 to 6 weeks. And Paul Joyce and The Athletic have both confirmed that it is expected to be in that time frame. So this is a blow for Harvey, who obviously was a big favourite under Jurgen and played a lot of football under Jurgen. If we look at last season, I believe he made the most starts of any, or the most appearances, I should say, of any Liverpool player, with 53 appearances. The season before, he played 46 times. And remember, he's still only 21 years of age. So 99 appearances over the last 2 seasons is a lot of football. Most of them obviously coming as a sub, but he did start quite a few games and he played quite a few minutes. So he will have been hoping that this season that would continue and he would be a regular, if not starter, then certainly contributor. But we are 3 games into this season and Harvey has barely played. And therefore he was likely hoping that going with the international group for England under the 21s would see him play. in both games, get minutes under his belt, up his sharpness, and then he'd have been hoping to come back with Liverpool having a lot of games coming up and get minutes. You know, thus far this season, he's only played once. He came off the bench against Brentford, didn't play against Ipswich, came on in the 83rd minute against Brentford and played 13 minutes. Including stoppage time, he played 13 minutes. That's his lot for the season so far. Because obviously with Arne Slot, everybody has to start over. Everybody has to start fresh. Now, legends are legends, so it's different for Mo, for Ali, for Virgil, for Trent, even for Robbo. They've all contributed to a league title win, a Champions League win, and multiple cups. Harvey doesn't have that sort of status in the squad. So he, along with the vast majority of the squad, were basically starting from zero again and having to build up that credit with the manager. And quite clearly, this manager doesn't view him in the same way right now that Jurgen did last season. With Jurgen last season, Harvey was playing one way or another. If he wasn't starting, he was coming off the bench. Whether the game called for him or not, Harvey was going to get minutes. And Jurgen said after leaving that he should have played Harvey more, which is bizarre, considering he played 99 times over the past 2 seasons, despite at times looking out of his depth, despite at times not performing particularly well, he would still play the next game. But with Slot, you have to earn it. Like, there's no question that if Jurgen was still at the club, Stefan Bajcetic would be in the squad and he would be playing. No question about that at all. Under Arne, he's gone on loan. Same with Bobby Clark. Same with Ben Doak. These people will be in the squad. The fact that they're not ready, the fact that while they are all talented footballers, they're not good enough to play for a team with ambition to win the league, means that they're not at the club now. They've either been sold or loaned. And for Harvey, while he's a better player and more developed than any of them, he's also behind a number of footballers who are just frankly better than him. Some of that is talent. Some of it is that they're got better physical gifts. Some of it is that they're more experienced than him. So if you look at the front 3 positions, Harvey can only play one of them. He can play off the right, but it would alter how the team plays. He can't play that role in the way Mo plays it. Now, nobody else can, but at least if it was Diaz, if it was Jota, if it was Chiesa, they have the pace and power and directness to run in behind. They have that mentality to get into goal-scoring positions. He doesn't have that because it's not his natural game. Harvey's natural role is sort of right side of a 4-man midfield, right side of a 4-2-3-1, but coming in field as a playmaker. Jurgen obviously tried to remake him as Martin Odegaard, and in time, perhaps there's going to be reason to celebrate that, but for now, there's not. So the other position for him would be that number 10 role that Dominic is playing. But he doesn't have the physicality, he doesn't have the pace, the power, he doesn't have the off-ball qualities. He's got the effort. Nobody would ever question Harvey Elliott's effort. But ultimately, he's a little bit too small and a little bit too slow to properly impact the game because he doesn't yet have the nous to make up for that. You look at a Bernardo Silva. Now, he's quicker than Harvey, but he's a little bit smaller than Harvey. But he's also super intelligent and very, very experienced. When he first came to City, he couldn't play in a midfield three. Now he can play in a double pivot because it's intelligence, it's experience, it's nous. Harvey has, I think, a good intelligence level. I think he's a clever footballer. I think he's someone that will pick things up. I think in time, you could see him definitely not be a liability in the midfield. But last season, when we played him and Alexis together in the midfield, we got outrun almost every time. And if you're picking one or the other, you're picking Alexis every time. So it's a tough time for Harvey. A manager that doesn't have the investment in him that Jurgen has. And I'm not talking about the financial investment. Jurgen was there when we bought him. But let's be clear, Jurgen probably had no idea who he was when he signed. He was a signing by the nerds. He was a signing by the scouts. He was a player that from a very young age was very highly regarded. That was a bit of a coup for us to get him in. But Jurgen likely had no idea who he was coming in the door. But very quickly, Jurgen was willing to invest his time and his coaching into the player. And it was very clear there was a really good bond between the two. And you could imagine that if Jurgen, having left us, had taken on a job this summer, let's say he just decided, I'm just going to take the Dortmund job. Dortmund needed a new manager. I'll take that job. They would have said farewell, Nuri Sahin. It's been a great 3 days. Thanks for everything. And they would have appointed Jurgen. And I would bet he would have tried to get Harvey. I'd be willing to bet he would have tried to get Harvey. Because he had that investment with him. He'd put years into Harvey. And they developed a really good bond. And obviously the big thing for Jurgen is what the player gives back, that effort, that work rate. And like I said, nobody would ever question Harvey Elliott's work rate. Nobody. The kid runs himself into the ground every time he's on the pitch. Every single time. And that does make up for some of the defensive flaws. But unfortunately, that's not enough for this manager, Arne Slot, who doesn't have that investment with him. Like I said, Arne started with everybody on a clean slate, but that's both good and bad. That's both any misdemeanors you might have had in the past wiped away, but also the progress you've made in recent years wiped away. And the prime example of the misdemeanor side would be St. Gravenberg, who was dreadful last year. But clean slate, Arne has put him in the team. Now, would he be in the team if Curtis Jones hadn't got hurt? That's a different question. But ultimately, he got his opportunity. He's taking it. Had he been put in the team and not played well, he likely wouldn't have been kept in the team. And that's the pressure that would fall onto Harvey. If and when you get your starts, can you perform? Can you earn more minutes? Because your guaranteed minutes right now are 0, like most players in the squad. Nothing is guaranteed for you. You're not one of the untouchables. You're not one of the legends. Your guarantees are 0. So go and earn it. Go and prove it on the pitch. And I have no doubt that Harvey would have carved out a role for himself in the squad. I'm not sure what the role would have been or how big it would have been, but he would have had a role to play. And now, unfortunately, he's going to miss the next 4 to 6 weeks. That's Forest, Milan, Bournemouth, West Ham, Wolves, Bologna, Crystal Palace at minimum. After the international break in October, we have Chelsea and we have Leipzig. Then we have Arsenal. Then we have Brighton. Then we have Leverkusen. Then we have Villa. And then it's another international break. Now that's 2 months from now. That's like 9 weeks. So let's say Harvey comes back in 6 weeks. So that brings him back probably sometime around Leipzig, Arsenal. That kind of time. There are 8 games between now and Leipzig. Leipzig is game number 9. Forest, Milan, Bournemouth, West Ham, Wolves, Bologna, Palace and Chelsea. I think in all likelihood Harvey probably starts 2 of them. Now it's possible he could have started this Forest game at the weekend. I would say he was a certainty to start the West Ham game. I wouldn't be surprised if he was going to start the West Ham game and potentially the Bologna game. And maybe there's another one in there. Maybe there's a league start in there for him as well. Maybe it's Forest. Maybe it would have been Bournemouth. And now, but he also probably would have gotten maybe 2 or 3 sub appearances in there. And now all those minutes are lost. And it may well be that was going to be quite a big chunk of his minutes before Christmas. Because when he comes back, you're not going to throw him straight back in. So I wouldn't say he's going to start against Leipzig. You wouldn't start him against Arsenal. I don't think they'll start him against Brighton. I don't think they'll start him against Leverkusen. I don't think they'll start him against Aston Villa. You could potentially be looking at Southampton after the November international break. Because after that game, we get Real Madrid, then we get Manchester City in back-to-back home games. So I would say he would definitely have started the Southampton game. So I would have said he'll get maybe a Premier League game, Forest or Bournemouth, West Ham, Bologna, and then I don't think he starts again until Southampton. And then after that, I think he could start away to Girona and at home to Fulham. But now you're throwing out all of the potential minutes between now and likely that Leipzig game. And he may have to make do with sub-appearances up until Southampton away on the 23rd of November. And that's tough. That's really tough. And this is the issue with when squad players get injured. Like, it's not necessarily... like let's just take, for example, let's say touch any wood that's close to you. Let's just say Luis Diaz picked up a knock, right? And 4 to 6 weeks. Well, for Luis Diaz, he knows that at the end of that 4 to 6 weeks, he likely comes back and goes back into the team. Maybe that's not good. Let's say Virgil. And again, touch every bit of wood anywhere close to you. Let's say Virgil picks up a knock, 4 to 6 weeks. He knows when he comes back, he's straight back into the team. So all he's missing is that 4 to 6 weeks. But for Harvey, he now doesn't know when he's going to get back in the team, when he's going to get minutes. There's more uncertainty for him as a squad player. Likewise, let's say Andy Robertson last year. Robbo got hurt. They told him it'll be 8 to 10 weeks. Robbo now knows, okay, 8 to 10 weeks and I'm back in the team. Costas gets told you're out 6 to 8 weeks. That could mean you don't get to play again for 4 months because you're the backup. And that is the same situation that Harvey's in now, where he is the backup. So he's going to miss his opportunities to play, which, as a portion of his season, would be more than, let's say, if Virgil were to miss 4 to 6 weeks, because Virgil's going to play every other game. But for Harvey, what he might miss now, potentially, let's say, 3 starts and another 40 minutes through sub-appearances, 45 minutes through sub-appearances. That's 310 minutes. That might represent a quarter of his actual season. Like, it genuinely might represent a quarter of his season. Whereas with Virgil, he misses 4 to 6 weeks. He wouldn't have played against West Ham, but he probably would have played all the other games. Then he comes straight back in. So let's say he misses, 6 games, 7 games. That's 700 minutes. Thereabouts. 700 and... No. Yeah, thereabouts. Let's just say that's a fifth or less of the minutes he's likely to play across the season. Because Virgil would generally play around 4,000 minutes, or 3,500 to 4,000 minutes. So it's less of a blow for him, even though he's actually missing more games, because he would be playing every game and Harvey wouldn't. It's less of a percentage of his likely tally for the season, and also he knows he's coming back into the team. Harvey now doesn't know if he's going to come back into the team. Harvey doesn't know that in 6 weeks, Trainiani hasn't started a couple of games instead of him and played really well. He doesn't know that Federico Chiesa hasn't come into the team and done brilliantly. He doesn't know that Cody Gakpo hasn't come into the team and done really well and is not only pushing for minutes on the left wing, but he's also now pushing for minutes as a number 8 or a number 10. That he's put himself in the position where Aaron is looking at it and think, okay, well, the best backup I have for Dom Szoboszlai is actually Cody Gakpo. It's not Harvey Elliott. So it's really tough for Harvey. It's really, really tough. It's really unfortunate. This is a key year for him under a new manager. He had been one of Jurgen's favourites. He was going to have to try and earn that status again with the new manager. And now he's been hit with this unfortunate injury news. 7 goals, 3 assists, 10 maximum minutes played. Liverpool players in the international break. So let's have a look. So Trent, Virgil, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Alisson, Diaz, Kelleher, Robertson, Bradley, and Tsimikas played every possible minute. Quansah played all bar 8. Endo played all bar 19. Salah all bar 15. Cody all bar 24. Trainiani played 150 minutes. Alexis only played 115, which is great. Jota played 92. Ibu played 90. Tyler Morton played 71. Of our players out on loan, Mamardashvili played every minute for Georgia. Luke Chambers, 90 minutes. Lewis Kumas, 63. Bendo, 20. And Kate Gordon, 13. Cody, Alexis, Lucho, Endo, Salah, and 2 from Trainiani, the goal scorers. Assist-wise, Gravenberch got 1, Trent got 1, and Kostas Tsimikas got 1. So that's all very positive. How will Roy Hodgson win help Liverpool sell 50 million Fernando Torres to desperate Chelsea? That's worth a read. The Liverpool thrashing that brought Kyle Walker and his teammates to tears. That is when we hammered them at White Hart Lane. The oh fuck off, even Flanagan has scored game. And what brought them to tears was Andre Villas-Boas being sacked, because regardless of what Tony Evans and other dickheads in the media will tell you, Villas-Boas is actually very popular with almost all his players. He didn't get on well with Terry, Drogba, or Lampard because he was told to go in and basically push them out. And their egos and their temper tantrums and their relationship with the owner, who had told the manager to get rid of them and then snaked the manager, but then had to pay him 46 million or 36 million. 36 million, I think, for 7 months' work. Well done, Roman. Good decision. Snaked him. But yeah, at every other club he's been at, he's been very, very popular with his players. The Zenit St. Petersburg players, when he left, bought him gifts and had a party with him. Not like when Rafa left Valencia and the players had a party because he was gone. Villas-Boas is generally very liked by his players, and Tottenham was a prime example of that. Trent puts on a passing clinic in second England Man of the Match display. Trent was excellent. Absolutely excellent, no question. Liverpool 16-year-old signing from Chelsea joins first team training. Rio Gamoa was training with the first team. Obviously, there is a very limited group there at the moment because of the international break. But this kid, by all accounts, people are very, very high on him. And there was some good players there. Yaros was there. Chiesa was there. Gomez was there. Darwin was there. Curtis Jones was there. He's back in training now. I believe Alvin Ayman was spotted in and around the first team training as well. So, you know, good to see. Good to see these young players getting the pathway. AnfieldIndex.com. I'll leave it to yourselves. Check out Liverpool.com and Dave O.C. Cop. I personally am boycotting Anfield Watch for now because I just think that the way they tweet about Salah is abhorrent, basically. Now, look, I understand that, it's a business for you. You're not tweeting out of love for the club necessarily. So you're looking for engagement so you can make money off Elon Musk's stupid policy. But let me just give you some free advice. Tweeting something positive about Mo will get you far more likes and retweets than tweeting something negative about Mo. Now, if it's worth more to you to get comments, you will get more comments from people telling you that you're a gang of pricks with the negativity than you will with the positivity. But you'd never see an Arsenal fan page or aggregator, or a United fan page or aggregator, or a Chelsea fan page or aggregator, or a City fan page or aggregator tweet that way about one of their greatest ever players. You wouldn't see any Chelsea outlet tweet negatively about Frank Lampard or Didier Drogba or, even whoever it is that or Cole Palmer as their best player now. You wouldn't see anything negative. Like, these are pages that are still trying to put Eden Hazard in debates and Mo Salah. That's what they do for their players. United outlets, all positive about Bruno. All positive about Bruno. When he scores a goal, they're never asking, could you have scored that one? You just gang of pricks. You wouldn't see them say negative things about Rooney or Cantona or Keane or whoever. And so on and so forth. City with De Bruyne. Spurs with Son. Arsenal with Saka. You wouldn't see negativity. But we see it from you. We see it from you in your social media multiple times. And it's just appalling. Like, we could all sit down and pick apart careers. I do it for a living. But you'd never find me tweeting out after a goal by Mo Salah trying to find a negative in it. Never. You'd never see that off the Anfield Index account. You wouldn't see it off the This Is Anfield account, although they've had some questionable tweets in the past about Mo as well. But you wouldn't see that. You wouldn't see it off the Red Men. You wouldn't see it off anyone else, other than maybe Anfield Edition. They're also a gang of pricks. Don't be a gang of pricks. That's my free advice to Anfield Watch. Don't be a gang of pricks. Because people haven't forgotten what your site used to be. People haven't forgotten who used to own that site. And the links that they had to a certain, I won't even call them a newspaper, a certain publication. People haven't forgotten. You were having to build goodwill from negative start point. You were doing a good job with it. And now you risk making a mess of it. So cop yourselves on and don't be a gang of pricks. And to you, the listener, Liverpool.com and Dave O.C. Cop, and obviously This Is Anfield, they're still on the approved list. But you can also check out AnfieldIndex.com. There is a piece up about young Rio and his potential debut coming this weekend. There's a piece about our transition from Klopp to Slot, based on an article by Jonathan Norcroft. There's a piece with me talking about what Ian Graham said about the best signings. There's a piece about Alisson. And then there's a piece that I don't really believe. Now, the source material for the piece is a report in France that Mbappe had agreed to join us in the summer 2022. I have a really tough time believing that piece. A really tough time believing that Mbappe had agreed to join us. Podcast-wise, there's lots going on. You had the Monday lunchtime, Dave Davis, David Lynch. You have Red Alert, Dave, James McKean, Mark Evans. Give that one a listen. You have a New Media Matters, Dave Davis and Jonathan Norcroft discussing Liverpool's start and the transition, etc., etc. Coming out today, I think, is Stat Me Up with Dave and Ben Boxic. There's a new Scouted, which I think is going to drop later today or early tomorrow. There's a big decisions pod. Tomorrow there'll be Mulby on the spot. There'll be the press conference pod on Friday. There'll be an AIP, I think, on Friday as well. And there will be post-match Raw on Saturday. It's me and Trev, and I'm not really sure who else. I did look at it earlier on, but I've forgotten now. These things happen to you when you get the age I'm at now. Your mind just isn't your own anymore. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.